I still remember the exact moment the first whisper reached me. I was standing in the commissary on base, pushing my cart down the aisle, when two officers' wives I barely knew suddenly stopped talking the second I turned the corner. One of them gave me a tight, pitying smile. The other looked away too quickly. That tiny moment sent ice through my veins. My name is Sophia Reynolds. I was 29 years old, married to Captain Daniel Reynolds, and we had just been stationed at this large army base in the South for 18 months. Life on base felt like living in a small town where everyone knew your business, or thought they did. Daniel and I had been married for 6 years. We met when I was a young nurse working at a civilian hospital near his first duty station. He was kind, steady, and ambitious. I fell for the way he made me feel safe in a world that was constantly moving. We had a beautiful 4-year-old daughter, Lily, with big, curious eyes and her father's smile. I tried hard to be the perfect military spouse. I volunteered at the Family Readiness group, helped organize events, kept our quarters spotless, and supported Daniel through every deployment and long training exercise. I gave up a promising nursing career to follow him from base to base, telling myself it was worth it for our family. My mother-in-law, Margaret Reynolds, moved near us 6 months after we arrived. She was a widow, the wife of a retired colonel, and she carried herself with the confidence of someone who believed the military hierarchy extended to family life. At first, I was thrilled. I thought having family close would make base life less lonely. She would show up with homemade casseroles, offer to watch Lily, and tell me stories about how things were done in the old days. Daniel adored her. "Mom just wants to help, Soph," he'd say with that easy smile. "She knows how tough this life can be." I believed him. I wanted to believe her. We spent many evenings together, barbecues on the patio, Sunday dinners, walks around the base housing area. Margaret would compliment my cooking, praise how well I managed the house while Daniel was away, and say things like, "You're such a good wife to my son. Not everyone could handle this life the way you do." Those words made me feel seen, accepted, valued. But small things started to bother me. She would accidentally mention how Daniel's first girlfriend had been a fellow officer's daughter, someone with the right background. She'd comment on my civilian job history with a faint smile. It must be hard coming from a regular job into this world. I brushed it off. Mothers-in-law can be protective. I told myself I was being too sensitive. One warm Friday evening, we were all having dinner on the back patio. Lily was playing nearby. Margaret raised her glass and said warmly, "To Sophia, the glue holding our family together while Daniel serves our country." Daniel squeezed my hand under the table. I smiled, heart full. But what I didn't know that day would shatter the fragile peace I had built on this base. Music shifts to subtle tension. Transition, scenes of daily base life, commissary, playground, family events with growing unease. Life continued with its usual rhythm. Daniel left for a 2-week field exercise. I kept busy with Lily's preschool, volunteering, and trying to make friends in the tight-knit spouse community. Margaret offered to help more often. I accepted, grateful for the support. Then the whispers grew louder. At a spouse's coffee morning, a woman I considered a friend pulled me aside. "Sophia, is everything okay at home? I heard some concerning things." I laughed nervously. "What do you mean?" She hesitated, then said gently, "People are saying you've been struggling, that you've been drinking alone during the day while Daniel is away, and that you've been neglectful with Lily." My stomach dropped. I assured her it wasn't true. She nodded, but I could see the doubt in her eyes. That night, I confronted Margaret gently over the phone. "Have you heard any strange rumors going around?" She sounded shocked. "Rumors? Oh, honey, you know how these bases are, full of bored people with too much time. Don't let it get to you. You're doing wonderfully." Her voice was so convincing, so caring. I wanted to believe her. But the rumors kept spreading like wildfire through the base housing, the Facebook groups, and the wives' clubs. They evolved. I was unstable, resentful of military life, complaining constantly about Daniel's career, even not a team player. Friends started canceling playdates. Invitations dried up. People smiled politely but kept their distance. I felt isolated, exposed, broken. I never thought I'd see the day when the woman who called me family would become the source of my deepest pain. Until everything changed. I realized that the person I thought was supporting me was the one quietly destroying my reputation on base. The breaking point came during a large family readiness event. I had helped organize it for weeks. As I walked in with Lily, I overheard Margaret talking to a group of senior spouses in a hushed but carrying voice. Poor Sophia, she tries so hard, but this life just isn't for everyone. Between us, I've seen her lose her temper with little Lily more than once. And the drinking? Well, I've smelled it on her breath when Daniel is away. I worry for my son. He deserves someone stronger. My world tilted. I stood frozen behind a pillar, heart hammering. The women nodded sympathetically. One even said, "It's so common, unfortunately. These young wives crack under the pressure." I didn't confront her there. I couldn't. Tears burned my eyes as I gathered Lily and left early, making an excuse about her being tired. That night, when Daniel returned from the field, I told him everything. He listened, brow furrowed. "Mom would never say those things, Zoph. She loves you. There must be a misunderstanding." But when I pressed him to talk to her, he sighed. "Let me handle it. Don't make this bigger than it is." His response shattered something inside me. The man I loved, the one I had followed across states and sacrificed for, was choosing to believe his mother over me. The lies escalated. Someone anonymously reported concerns about Lily's well-being to family services on base. I had to endure interviews, home visits, and judgmental stares. It was humiliating. I felt helpless, angry, and so very alone. Through tearful nights, I started noticing patterns. Margaret had been collecting small stories, twisting innocent moments. A glass of wine I had one stressful evening became drinking problem. A tired moment with Lily became neglect. My occasional frustration with constant moves became resentment toward Daniel's career. She wasn't just spreading rumors. She was carefully crafting a narrative that painted me as unstable and unfit, while positioning herself as the concerned, selfless grandmother trying to protect her son and granddaughter. Confusion turned to deep pain, then pain hardened into quiet anger. I began keeping records, dates, conversations, screenshots of strange messages. I talked to a few trusted friends who admitted they had heard the rumors but didn't believe them. Slowly, I started rebuilding a small circle of real support. Daniel remained torn. He loved his mother, he also loved me, but his hesitation hurt more than the rumors. In the darkness of those weeks, a quiet determination grew inside me. I refused to let these lies define me or take my daughter's stability. I started documenting everything more carefully. I reached out to the base chaplain and a counselor. I even quietly consulted a legal advisor familiar with military family matters. The woman who once tried so hard to fit in and please everyone was waking up. The pain was breaking me, but it was also forging something stronger. Until everything changed, I realized the truth had power, and I was ready to let it speak. The climax arrived at the annual base-wide formal ball, the biggest social event of the year. Senior officers, spouses, and families would all be there. Margaret had been bragging for weeks about helping organize it. She saw it as her stage. I decided it would be mine, too. I arrived in a simple but elegant black dress, hair swept up, holding Daniel's arm. Lily was safely with a trusted sitter. Margaret greeted us with her usual warm smile, but I saw the flicker of surprise when she noticed how composed I looked. The evening progressed with toasts and dancing. Midway through, Margaret took the microphone for a short appreciation speech about supporting military families. She spoke eloquently about loyalty, strength, and the challenges of being a military spouse. That's when I calmly walked up to the stage coordinator and asked for the next slot. The program had a short open segment for community remarks. I stepped to the microphone, heart steady despite the nerves. The room quieted. "Good evening. Many of you know me as Sophia Reynolds, Daniel's wife. Over the past few months, rumors have spread across this base about my character, my parenting, and my fitness as a military spouse. I've stayed silent out of respect for my family and this community." I paused, looking directly at Margaret, who had gone pale. "Tonight, I'm choosing truth over silence. I have documented evidence, messages, timestamps, and witness statements showing exactly where these lies originated. They did not come from concerned friends. They came from one person who felt threatened by my presence in this family." I didn't name her outright at first, but I shared specific, undeniable details only she could have known. I played short, carefully selected audio clips, with legal advice, of conversations that revealed the twisting of facts. The room listened in stunned silence. Margaret tried to interrupt, voice shaking. "This is ridiculous. I was only trying to help." But the evidence spoke louder. Senior spouses who had believed the rumors now looked at her with disappointment. Daniel stood beside me, finally seeing the full picture. His face showed a mix of shock and regret. I ended calmly. "I am not here to destroy anyone. I am here to protect my daughter, my marriage, and my own dignity. The truth has a way of rising. I choose to rise with it." I stepped down to polite but powerful applause from some corners and uncomfortable silence from others. In the weeks that followed, the consequences unfolded with quiet inevitability. Margaret's reputation, carefully built over years as the perfect colonel widow and supportive mother-in-law, cracked under the weight of the truth. Invitations slowed, whispers turned toward her. The Family Readiness group distanced itself politely. Daniel had difficult conversations with his mother. He apologized to me deeply and began setting firmer boundaries. Our marriage grew stronger through counseling and honest talks. I kept my focus on healing. I resumed part-time nursing work on base, reconnected with old colleagues, and poured energy into being the steady, loving mother Lily deserved. The base community slowly saw the real me, resilient, not broken. Months later, I stood on the same patio where Margaret once toasted me as the glue. This time it was just our little family. Daniel pulled me close and whispered, "I'm so proud of you, Soph. You're stronger than any of us knew." I smiled, feeling peace settle in my chest. I finally understood. Sometimes the strongest revenge isn't loud or cruel. It's simply letting the truth come to light, protecting what matters most, and continuing to live with grace and strength. When someone tries to dim your light with lies, the most powerful response is to shine brighter and never let them steal your peace again. If you've ever been targeted by gossip, underestimated, or betrayed by family, know this: your truth is your greatest weapon. Use it wisely, rise steadily, and never doubt your worth. Thank you for listening to my story. If it touched you, share your own experience in the comments. Have you ever faced rumors that tried to break you?